Hi, I'm Stephanie Worthley. I'm the K through 12 Director of Guidance for the Medfield Public Schools. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this screencastify as an introduction to our junior future planning process for students and parents. Typically during this time of the year, we offer programming for parents, which includes our kickoff evening presentation, and then we also offer workshops for students during their classes. Unfortunately, we can't offer either this year in this hybrid model that we're in. So we're trying to provide as much information that we can to students and parents in various formats, so that way you're receiving the same information you normally would, again, just in a different format. So just to start as a reminder, for those of you, who your guidance counselor is, if your last name is A through B-O, those students work with me. Last name's B-R through E, Mrs. DeLuzio. F through L, Mrs. Lodge. M through Q, Mrs. Patton. And R through Z, Mr. Ornberg. So instead of providing a full webinar that would be an hour and a half to 2 hours long, that would be very long and tedious to sit through, we thought it would be best to send out weekly screencasts focusing on different parts of the future planning process. So we thought we would start today by introducing that to you folks, and also sending you the week 1 screencast, Making the Most of Naviance. Naviance has a lot of wonderful features for students to use at this point regarding future planning process and college searches and so forth. So we want to show you how to use Naviance to the best of its ability. We will send out future screencasts, including information about standardized testing, application terminology, and the common application. We'll provide some information about differentiating the future planning process if a student is interested in playing a sport in college, or if they're a musician, or if a student's on an IEP or a 504 and is looking for some extra academic support at the college level. In addition, we will provide some information on mental health resources in college, and we realize that this can be a very stressful time for our students, both the future planning process and the pandemic, for that matter. So it's important to talk about how students are feeling right now, but we also want to make students and parents aware of what resources are available to them and what the next steps look like at the college level. So all of the information that we send out really is focused heavily on college. We send about 94% of our students of each class to a 2-year or 4-year college every year. So a lot of the information we put out to families and students is focused mostly on college. With that being said, however, there are many other future planning opportunities for students to consider if you're thinking that college might not be in your best interest. We talk to students all the time about employment opportunities, military. We've definitely seen an increase in our gap year programs over the past couple of years. Our PG year is definitely an option for many kids, and some vocational and trade schools as well. On our website, there's a lot of information here about post-secondary alternatives. Again, whether it's a PG year, volunteer and service programs, different non-traditional classrooms, military, study abroad, and so forth. So I encourage you to take a look at some of these links here and opportunities to see what might be a good fit for you. I encourage you all to talk with your guidance counselor about these options, so that way we can work with you to provide you resources and information about whatever it is that your future goals might be. Each student works through this process at a different pace and has different post-secondary plans and goals. So it's really important that the guidance counselors are aware of what you're thinking, so that way we can help support you through this process. Some of the things we would like for students to start considering, especially at this point in their junior year, it's important for students to really start exploring to see what some colleges are out there, starting to do college searches, visiting colleges virtually. Many schools right now are not offering in-person college visits, but schools really are doing a lot of work to provide as much information that they can about their school virtually to students. So it's really important to see what's out there in regard to virtual possibilities. What Mrs. Lodge is going to talk today about using Naviance and doing college searches. Naviance holds a lot of information for students, as well as great college searches to begin really kind of digging deep into what you're looking for college and what might be a good fit for you as well. We're going to talk about SATs and ACTs and standardized testing. Other things to consider, creating a resume. If you haven't done so yet, definitely talk to your guidance counselor about that. We can help you put together a nice educational resume for you for when you do start to apply to college. We will send out information about virtual college fairs as they come up, and any information we get from colleges about programs that they're offering, we will begin forwarding all of those to juniors as well. So the spring of junior year, visiting schools is definitely an important part of this process. However, we do recognize that in this time right now that many colleges are not offering college visits. Again, however, virtual college visits, virtual programming that the colleges are, putting out there for students are really important to start participating in. In the spring, we'll talk with students more about talking to teachers about writing letters of recommendation. And again, it's really important to start setting up some of those individual meetings with guidance counselors to discuss plans. We often from our office recommend that students, before you come back to school in your senior year, spend the summer working on your applications and working on at least drafts of your essay. The senior year, starts off and you have 7 new classes and 7 new teachers, and maybe you play a sport, or maybe you're part of the band or the concert choir, or whatever the case might be. Spring or fall of senior year often gets very busy. So if you could work on some applications and writing essays in the summer prior to returning to school, at least have drafts done of those things, I think you'll find that we can spend the time together then editing and finalizing things to send out by the deadlines. I think it's also important in the summertime to start to put a college list together. And that doesn't mean that you have to have your list totally finalized by the time you come back to school as a senior, but at least a general idea of some colleges that you might be interested in and what some of the deadlines might look like if you are applying early action or early decision or regular, and what those might look like. And then again, of course, SATs and ACTs, seniors have the opportunity to take those again as well. So when we talk about college, we realize that this starts to invoke a little bit of stress for many of our juniors, thinking about what their future plans might look like and what they might like to do outside of Medfield High School. And it's a really important time to talk about that and start to think about the college admissions process in a positive manner, in a fun way, to start to think about what it is that students are looking for at the next level. So Medfield High School is part of Challenge Success, which Challenge Success really does challenge communities to think about how they define success. So when we talk to students and they say, well, I need to get good grades, or I need to go to a good college, what does that look like? And what is the impact on the student? We've also often seen students staying up very late at night to do homework, to get everything done to the best of their ability, so that way they can get that good grade. We've also seen students take AP and honors level courses that maybe are a bit above their head to try to get into that good college. So again, these are all things that I challenge you to think about tonight. Think about what makes a good college and what would be a good college for you, the student. So I want to show this brief clip from Challenge Success about if you're stressed about the college admissions process, and just to get you to think a little differently.
Are you stressed about the college admissions process? We've heard from over 100,000 high school students that applying to college can be a huge source of stress for them and their parents. Many students have a fit over getting into college because they think that attending the most highly ranked or most selective schools is the key to future success and happiness. But an extensive review of literature on college outcomes conducted by Challenge Success actually shows that college rankings are problematic and are not the best indicator of a school's quality. In fact, the research shows that what students do in college may matter more than which college they go to. Finding a college that fits you and where you can be highly engaged is a better predictor of long-term outcomes like student learning, job satisfaction, well-being, and even future income than going to a highly ranked school. What does this mean for high school students applying to colleges? Broaden your gaze and consider looking beyond rankings in the college search process. Look for a school where you can participate fully in academic, civic, and social life to thrive during the college years and beyond. It's not necessarily the college that makes the difference, it's you and what you do while you're there. To learn more, download the Challenge Success White Paper, A Fit Over Rankings: Why College Engagement Matters More Than Selectivity.
So again, I just encourage students to really think about what it is that they're interested in at the college level. So that way you're finding a school that maybe you fit academically into, but they also have areas that you are most interested in pursuing after high school. So what's next? So as I said, we're going to send out in the next couple of weeks weekly screencasts with information both students and parents need for kind of preparing for the future planning process. If you students took the PSATs, scores are going to be released on December 7th or 8th. So, just a couple days, you should have those. In January this year, we are going to offer a virtual college admissions panel presentation. This is something we've always offered every year for students and parents live and in person. And unfortunately, this year, because we can't do that, but we are still going to offer a virtual admissions panel. Many admissions counselors are doing these types of presentations for schools. So we have tentatively scheduled that for Wednesday, January 27th at 6:30 p.m. for both students and parents to log on and watch, and more information will be sent about that certainly as it gets closer. The nice thing about a virtual panel is that even if you can't attend, it will be recorded, so the information will all be shared with students and families following the presentation. And then in the spring, we typically offer a couple different programming for students and parents. And I kept this kind of area the same: a parent coffee, classroom workshops, a college fair field trip, junior newsletters, help sessions. These are things we always do in the spring. While I don't know what they might look like, particularly this year, whether we can offer a parent coffee by April or May, or we can get access to students in classrooms in the springtime, I promise you, we will still provide students and parents with the same information. It just might be in an alternate format. So we typically each year take juniors on a college fair field trip into Boston for the NACAT College Fair. Again, I can't imagine that that's going to happen this year, but if it does, then we will be there. And if it doesn't, we will find alternative options for students to be able to access information from schools and college fairs, even if it is virtually. We will definitely keep sending out junior newsletters in the springtime as we have every year, and offering help sessions to students should they need it about different parts of the application. So it's really important in the springtime to schedule individual future planning meetings with your guidance counselor throughout the year. Our students often go through this process at very different paces and time, and that is totally okay. You know, you may be watching this video thinking, well, I've already done a college search and I've already taken the SATs and I've already done this, that, or the other thing, and that's totally fine. Or you may be sitting here thinking, gosh, I haven't started any of it yet, and that's totally fine too. This really is an individual process based on the student's interest and kind of what they're thinking, what their plans and their goals are for their future. So it's important to communicate that with your guidance counselor so we can best help and support you through the process moving forward. So if you have questions, please reach out to your guidance counselor, and I hope you will watch Mrs. Lodge's presentation on Naviance and the following screencasts that come out in the next couple weeks. Thank you so much.